Hello failed nerdmaids and nerdmaids-to-be, my name is Faith, and from beginner to pro, we all want different mermaid tails to add to our collection. Here is my humorous take on the progression split up into about 8 steps. There's a ton of factors that go into choosing how to upgrade your mermaid tails, and when I get questions like this, I just go, I don't know you, there's a lot of things, what do you like, what do you need? So this is my best attempt to try and break it down into an easy and understandable format, but before I get into it, remember that everyone does this differently, and it's totally okay to skip a step or two depending on your skill level, or even just stay somewhere. That's totally okay. Mermaiding is a super individualized hobby for all sorts of people everywhere, and no two mermaid journeys look the same. And if you hate money just like I do, let's get on into it. So step 0 is the pining. This is the step before you even purchase your first tail, but this is beginning your mermaid journey. It might be a drunken Friday evening for some of you.
I'm on the explore page and there's all these people with mermaid tails.
Fin fun. They have pink tails.
From the deep blue underworld.
Maybe this is why we're single.
Or it could be a lengthy process of research. Then of course you can also practice with different equipment before you even get your tail. For me, I used flippers in the pool for a couple weeks before I got my tail. Whatever works for you, step 0 is still a legitimate step. Now here we are at step 1, entry level. Hopefully after you've done some research, including watching some of my many mermaid tail reviews, you will have settled on your first tail. Tails that fall into this category are ones with simple but still safe monofins, like this, or this, or this. And then they'll also have spandex skins that go over your legs and the monofin, and they're fairly cheap, ranging from about $60 to $200.
Let's make the most of the night like we're gonna die. Get in, loser, we're going shopping.
An entry-level tail is not a tail from Wish or AliExpress. I 100% do not recommend these. The one I 100% recommend to anyone, anywhere, is a fin fun tail. These tails are beginner friendly, budget friendly, they're safe, they're easy to use. It's really great to get used to technique, but they're also really forgiving if you're maybe not so great at it. Now once you've got your tail, it comes in and you feel the mermaid magic. It's beautiful, it's easy to swim in, and you're like, yeah, this is great, I've decided that this is a hobby for me. Well, I've got some bad news for you, it's all downhill from here. Now step 2 is a hard step to explain, but I call it the half upgrade. You might want to get a different experience from your tail without totally breaking the bank or investing in a brand new tail. An easy and common practice after you've gotten your first tail is to upgrade either the tail skin, which is the spandex tube that goes over your body and your fin, or the monofin itself. Take my friend for instance, who went from a fin fun titled teal with a regular monofin to an Atlantis tail, and then also upgraded and got the Luna monofin. Typically an upgraded mermaid tail skin can cost you from $70 to about $150. This includes a Fin Fun Atlantis tail, even a Fin Fun custom tail, a Mertailor guppy, a Mertailor Fantasy Fin 1, a magic tail, they have some in a variety of different prices, or even just one from a totally different company from where you bought your first tail. The reason you might want to wait before getting one of these skins is that mermaiding will quite often beat up your tail when you're first learning how to do it.
Oh, the pH of this soil is too high. I believe I may die.
Yeah, concrete.
And as well, if you decide that mermaiding isn't for you, you're not going to waste as much money. An upgraded monofin can cost about the same, from about $50 to $150. This would include the Fin Fun Amp monofin, a Linden monofin, a Luna monofin, a Mertailor Fantasy Fin 1. Most of these require a bit more proficiency to use, which is why I wouldn't recommend them for beginners, but they're still easy to get the hang of. Now after you've thought about this, your justification for getting another monofin or tail skin is that so that you can have a friend to come join you for your swimming. That's 100% your only motivation, is you just want another monofin so that your friend can swim with you too. Of course. Step 3 is the full upgrade. When you go full aerial and just go, I want more.
Go off the deep end. I don't think you wanna go off the deep end.
This is when you start to diversify and get a whole new upgrade. Take Mermaid Shay for instance, who used a Fin Fun for a couple months and then upgraded to a Magic Tail Pro Tail with the Mahina monofin. You know, you just have to see what something new is like. Generally these tails require a bit more proficiency to use. A Fin Fun monofin is a totally different ballgame from a Mahina or a freediving tail skin, and will put you at a couple $100s. This upgrade is often motivated by a tail breaking down after a few years of use, or you're just wanting to try something new. At this point you may have more mermaid tails and monofins than friends, but it's fine. 4. Here we are right in the middle. This is the intermediate or mid-range or enthusiast level of tails. This is a continuation of step 3, except it requires a bit more confidence, money, and experience. I would start including tails that are $350 and up. Tails in this category are typically made of more expensive materials and will often have really large flukes or vinyl inside the flukes, and therefore they also have a few more components that are harder to take care of. So it's not recommended for beginners because you might be like, what do I do with this? Now, what's interesting to me is that this is a market gap that had existed until up about a few years ago when Finfolk and mertailers started stepping up their game and making tails for people who really liked mermaiding and maybe wanted to perform but didn't quite have, you know, the desire for a full silicone tail. Since these tails, while fabric are still high quality, lots of people would perform in them, such as Merman Maui, who went from a Mertailor Eco Tail to a Mertailor Fantasy 1 and had a Swimtails Beta. And so with the fact in mind that people can and do perform in these tails, you can justify this as a business expense. I can do gigs in this tail now. I couldn't do it in my magic tail because that one's a little see-through, but I can do it in this one. Doesn't matter if I don't have a mermaid business, it's a tax write-off. Okay, thank you. Your opinion is no longer needed. Goodbye. Now the next step in your mat knitting quest for the perfect tail is of course a custom tail. This is when it gets a little more expensive. This is when you decide on the maker you like, the monofin you like, and the color scheme you like, and you want something that no one else in the world will have. When these pieces come together, the next logical step is to have a fabric tail that's for you and only you. Custom fabric designs for mermaid tails are becoming more and more popular nowadays, and while pricier, they do offer a one-of-a-kind experience, and they truly help you live your full mermaid dreams. For myself, I decided that I love the Mahina monofin, the lovely Shop Vancouver Mermaid, and as well Galaxy colors, and she has made me 2 beautiful custom tails that I love so much. She has tails application slots open. Put my name down as a referral. Send me a bit of ambassador love. Companies that can make custom mermaid tails are included but not limited to Shop Vancouver Mermaid, Mertailor, Shello Mermaid, Mermaid Aqua, and Magic Tail does them as well. Here's the lovely Miss Phelan in her custom Mertailor Fantasy 3 Coral Koi tail. Doesn't she look like a vision of perfection? This is everything that she is in a mermaid tail. This is why people like it. That brand recognition though. Now, step 6 is the almost silicone tails. Now this is a category that is quite varied, ranging from tails from $600 to several thousand. Now these are tails that I wouldn't consider to be a full custom silicone tail, but they're also not fully a fabric tail. These would include more entry-level silicone tails that are made with neoprene as like the base fabric, a Finfolk Mythic or Mertailor Odyssey, which are all like pre-made runs. These sorts of almost silicone tails are perfect for leveling up into a more realistic mermaid look, and lots of people perform in these. Take for instance Miss the Mermaid, who used fabric tails for several years before getting a mythic tail, which was lovely for her and her performances at the aquarium. And here we are at step 7, the full silicone tail. This is like the top tier, everyone wants this, but oh man, there's a lot to consider about silicone tails. There's a lot of reasons why this is generally the last step that people will do. Now generally when someone refers to ordering or owning a full silicone tail, they mean one that's fully custom to their measurements, their design, and is one of a kind, no one else has it in the world. Sometimes tail makers will put out a pre-made, but generally this is a very one of a kind tail. You would be the only person in the world that has this. Actually getting a silicone tail is no easy feat, as it requires a lot of money, a long wait, and oftentimes it's quite a while before silicone tail makers will actually have spots open, except for of course my good friend Mermaid Amathea, who made my silicone tail. She has spots open right now, and you can get a silicone tail in as little as 6 months. Now there's a lot that goes into owning a silicone tail, as they're hard to put on, difficult to swim in, they're very heavy, so they're harder to transport, store, and clean, and of course they're very, very expensive and involve a long wait process, but of course people like it because it's fully customized to you. It's got that amazing realistic like skin feel to it, and you can get any sorts of fins, any sorts of colors, glitter, depending on the tail maker. It's truly a one-of-a-kind couture experience. I would 100 out of 10 not recommend this for anyone who's a beginner or a new mermaid. If you have the money to spend on a silicone tail and you want to be a mermaid, don't, not yet. You can, but just try first. Take for instance Mermaid Phantom, who's a very good swimmer, but started with a fin fun, and then went to a silicone tail. And that includes my analysis of the mermaid tail categories. It's more than just fabric or silicone. There's lots of things to consider, including budget, swim skills, styles that you like, and there's tons of options nowadays. So I thought I'd hopefully try to simplify a little bit of the buyer's anxiety so you can try and figure out what tail works for you in your point in your mermaid journey. So thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, give it a thumbs up. Comment below where you are in the mermaid tail collection step. I'd love to hear what your guys' thoughts are on what tails go into what categories. I know it's super complex, but this is the best thing I can do for all these interconnected parts to try and slot them into a spreadsheet, because that's just how my brain works. Subscribe if you haven't already to see more mermaid content and whatever I get up to next. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!
Alright. So fin fun, they have pink tails, so you could be like Elena.
I would trade my wings for the tail.
Yes, and I would trade my legs for the tail, like reverse Ariel.
That's just like.
Shut up. I'm gonna be blue, so I can be Nori.
But of course, the power of the Mahina is worth it.